We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com.
Moving on to Adriano M. Adriano's friend is moving into a small apartment in Australia and doesn't have any hi-fi gear.
Oh.
He'd like to. Wow. How does that? Why?
Some people don't.
What? I know. It's like going to my dad's house. It's just, Dad. Clock radio, he'd like to start with just a 2-speaker stereo setup, and he has no interest in surround sound, which also I don't understand. Okay. He'd like to be able to use his TV, laptop, perhaps a streaming device, and his phone via Bluetooth, all as sources, though. And he wants it to be as simple as possible, so no AV receiver, he says, if there's a way to do that. Yeah, there kind of is. Adriano thought of the JBL LSR305 self-powered monitors, yes, that Rob has recommended highly, but how would everything get connected? Well, you do have to hook it up in some way. Got to have some little switch.
I have an idea, but I'm interested to see what you guys think.
Okay, go for it.
No.
Ideas for hooking all that up to that.
Okay, let me see. He's like to start with just 2 speakers.
That's right. What is he? He wants to
No
use his
internet,
TV,
no
laptop, streaming. Now, yeah,
My thought is use your television as your switch.
Yep.
Right, because your TV is going to have some sort of stereo sound output, whether that's your traditional red-white RCAs or some of them just have a stereo 3.5 millimeter plug on them. But either way, now if you do go with those JBL LSR 305s, which I do like a lot in terms of their sound quality for the price, they only have XLR and 1/4 inch jack. The 1/4 inch jack is like the large headphone jack, right? But if you, let's say you have RCA stereo outputs, all you need is an RCA to 1/4 inch jack adapter cable. That there's no difference in the signal. So physically connecting them to your television is really no problem. Then, of course, I assume he already has whatever sources he watches on the TV already plugged into the TV. Nothing changes there. The only possible change would be if he wants to do like Bluetooth or just I assume what he really means is he wants a wireless connection from his phone to whatever he's playing. It doesn't necessarily have to be Bluetooth, I wouldn't think.
Right.
So something like a Chromecast, right? A Chromecast connected to your television.
Perfect.
Now you can cast from your phone to the Chromecast. So the thing that's a little bit weird about this is that when he's just listening to music, he'd still have to have his TV on, right? The TV would just be blank, but he'd still have to physically turn the TV on because it's acting as the switch. But to me, that's the cheapest, easiest, because I'm sure he's familiar with switching between his sources on his television. So essentially, nothing has changed. He's just replaced the TV speakers with these 2 outboard, much better speakers. I know Adriano also asked, like the JBLs being self-powered, they have their own volume dials, right? So he was like, do I have to turn the volume on the JBLs themselves to change the volume? If you connect it to the TV, no. You'll set them to whatever volume is comfortable, and then you'll still just use your TV's volume up and down, and there you go. That's it. So to me,
I've actually
that's the
come
easy
across
solution.
this situation with some folks I've known in the past, and I always tell people at that point, you're just interested in getting started with something that's better than your TV speakers, right? You just a receiver is not that hard to use. If you think about it, once it's set up right, it's just a switch box.
Yeah.
Just pick the thing you want to hear and turn the volume up and down. That's what I explain to people. And at that point, you could go to the thrift store or the pawn shop and get a good quality stereo receiver from someplace and 2 good speakers. You wouldn't spend very much money, and it's dipping your toes into the ocean of the AV world. Or the AV ocean. Yeah, into the AV ocean. My metaphors aren't good today.
What about just going to a soundbar, powered soundbar? I mean,
Sure.
Well, that was kind of his next question, yeah.
It would have it would have everything in it. He'd have a dedicated subwoofer. He'd get fairly good sound in stereo.
Yeah.
And it has all the. I said fairly.
Yeah, I know. I'm squinching up my face. Yeah.
I said fairly, and better than the TV. And it would come with the Bluetooth and the streaming. I mean, depending on what product you bought. But that would solve all his issues in one thing.
And it can automatically come on when it detects a signal from the TV or from anything else. Yeah.
Bada bing, bada bing, you're done.
Yeah, he does ask, should his friend maybe just get a single large Bluetooth speaker like the Sonos Play 5? I would say more like the sound bar.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like one of those Vizio 2.1 sound bars.
Yes.
I mean, I've said they sound pretty good. Particularly, they make dialogue sound nice and clear, which when you're watching TV. For music listening, I'm like, I mean, the thing that is drawing me is, I like those JBLs a lot because they're really nice sounding speakers. So, well, I mean, here's the thing though, Adriano. We've given you and your friend a few options here, all of which could do the job without having to go super crazy complicated or expensive, right? If you want to go with the self-powered JBLs, just end up using your TV as a switch. That'll work. If you go with a separate sound bar, you can plug everything directly into the sound bar, get one that has Bluetooth. If you go with the Vizio ones, they have Bluetooth and they have Chromecast built in, so you don't even need a separate thing. It's already there. That would certainly work. If you want Lee's solution, you could get a nice little stereo receiver and some half-decent little passive speakers, and you're on your way.
I can't help but think if I showed my mother how to use a little stereo receiver and speakers, and I just explained to her, just use this box to pick the audio. That's all you're doing. Just pick what you want to listen to and then turn it up and down here. And she loves it. It was inexpensive. It came from a yard sale. It was a home theater in a box kind of thing. So anyway, it's just another option.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.